3 days before my wedding, my dad called to say he wasn't walking me down the aisle, not because he was sick, because my sister would feel overshadowed. 2 days later, she watched me walk in with the one man her husband kept calling a dinosaur. I was the practical daughter, the one who always adjusted. When I was 12, I won a science competition and my parents missed it for my sister. So when my dad bailed, I didn't scream. I said, okay, saved the call, and dropped it into a folder on my phone labeled receipts. In our family, Leverage had a name Preston, my sister's husband. Loud suit, loud car, loud ego. He funded my parents' nice life, so they treated him like a king. To them, my fiance Elias was just a wilderness guide with a dusty truck and boots that still had dirt on them. 2 weeks earlier at a steakhouse, Preston put on a show. Still dragging tourists up trails, he said, loud enough for nearby tables. My dad laughed. Elias just smiled. I like the trails. They get me where I need to go. Then my sister clinked her glass and announced her spontaneous anniversary gala. Date, June 14th, my wedding day. My parents didn't protest. My mom started planning how they could do both, like my ceremony was a pit stop. 48 hours before the ceremony, my venue manager called, tight and angry. Preston is in my office with an envelope of cash, she said. He's trying to buy out your wedding, 10 grand, like I was a parking ticket. Elias texted one line. Don't worry, I know who to call. His sister Maya showed up in town in a suit that looked like a warning label. Over lunch, she said, your family isn't careless. They're coordinated. Then my sister strutted in to brag about centerpieces for her gala. Maya didn't argue. She just asked politely about Preston's loans. My sister went pale and left like the place caught fire. The night of my rehearsal dinner, my family skipped it. They were at a steakhouse toasting Preston's investors on my Instagram feed. I screenshot it and added it to receipts. Wedding morning, my mom texted, we'll sit in the back near the exit. We need to leave early to help your sister. So I opened my banking app and stopped payment on my dad's pathetic $500 floral contribution. If love was transactional, I was done paying. At the pavilion doors, I stood alone with my bouquet. No dad, no mom, just me and 150 guests. Then Harrison Caldwell stepped beside me. He was the old rancher Preston mocked, the dinosaur blocking Preston's precious access road. I knew him because my little weed hobby saved his horse, and he'd quietly become my biggest client. He offered his arm. After that, the heavy doors opened. Next, the quartet's music swelled up. Then, we stepped onto the aisle together. Again, the crowd gasped loud, real. My dad's smug smirk collapsed mid-breath. My mom's hand flew to her mouth. My sister froze in a dress too close to white. Preston's jaw dropped and stayed there. His eyes bounced from Harrison to me. Harrison leaned in, smiling. He looks like he swallowed a lemon. I laughed, bright and uncontrollable. At the reception, my family found their table in the far corner by the kitchen doors. Preston tried to corner Harrison at the bar and Maya slid in like a blade. Not tonight, she said. He's busy with his liabilities. Preston backed up like she'd slapped him. Then Harrison took the mic and announced my company had signed a $5 million exclusive contract with his hospitality group months ago. The tent erupted. My parents stayed seated, faces gray, finally realizing they'd traded the wrong daughter for a leased car. On Monday, Elias's company called Preston's Notes. Investors vanished. Projects froze. My parents discovered Preston had quietly taken out a second mortgage on their house to float his empire. That's when my phone lit up with desperate voicemails, and I powered it off. 2 weeks later, they barged into my facility like they still owned me. My dad tried the old script. You owe us respect. My sister cried like it was an audition. Preston begged Elias for mercy. They didn't apologize for the aisle. They didn't even mention it. They just wanted a bailout. I opened Maya's portfolio and slid my receipts across the counter. The voicemail transcript, the bribery email, the rehearsal screenshot. Respect is a currency. I told my dad. You spent yours on Preston. Security escorted them out. They came for a bailout. They left with a trespass warning and the sound of the door locking behind them. I didn't feel guilty. I felt clean. Like I'd finally pulled a dead plant by the roots and stopped pretending it would bloom.